of you might know him from the show over a decade ago, hit on Nickelodeon, Drake and Josh. He was the voice of Peter Parker on The Ultimate Spider-Man. He now has a music career that's happening, a new song that we're going to be playing right here on Let's Go There. Please welcome Drake Bell in studio.
Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going?
Hi.
Thanks for having me.
You know, it's great to have you.
The nostalgia and the legendary just jumps out. It's like kind of wild to me that you're here. So thanks.
Thank you.
Because I think it's one, you've had such an amazing career as an actor, which I feel like, and just kind of growing up as a child star.
Do you consider yourself like having grown up as a child star? Is that?
I acted when I was a kid. Yeah.
So,
I don't know if I was like a star.
Oh wow, are we being like modest?
No. Honestly, actually, let me explain it like this. It's really interesting, and I'm not exactly sure why. I'm not entirely sure why. I think maybe because social media. But when the show was airing, and when like you were watching the show, and we didn't have Instagram, social media, all that kind of stuff, and the show was popular, but it was, I get recognized maybe going to Disneyland or somewhere where there's like kids, you know?
Yeah.
But now the show has taken on a whole new life. I don't know, because of there's a lot of popular memes, for it, and they get shared and all this stuff, and now the show seems more popular now than it has ever been. So yeah, I was working a lot as a kid, but I wasn't really getting recognized, walking down the street, like it is now.
Well, do you feel like there was anything that you kind of missed out on as like kind of having, because I think one, you did, working and you were acting as a child star, but that's not a normal teenager type of lifestyle,
Yeah, no, it's definitely different, working on a movie set, or just basically just having a job, having a job where with so much relying on it, it's not just showing up for some a job a normal teenager would have. You're kind of
like me going to Taco Bell when I was 16.
Yeah, you have
you want a Nacho Bell Grande?
Yeah, you have a whole you have
hot or mild sauce.
Yeah, your mistakes are they can be overlooked, but ours, it's like, oh, we have this whole production weighing on our shoulders. So it was daunting, but we were having so much fun too. It was. I grew up. How we were talking before. You were saying you watched all that growing up.
Yeah.
And all that. I was obsessed with those shows and sketch comedy and SNL and Tracy Ullman and Carol Burnett and all of that kind of stuff. And so when I got to be on the Amanda Show, it was like
icon.
Yeah, it was just. It was just being able to. It was like an amusement park. It was almost like I was on like a ride simulator.
Yeah.
Like I went to Universal Studios and I got to experience the Nickelodeon experience, but I get to do it every day.
Yeah.
It was really cool. So as a kid, it's like, did you miss out on anything? It's like, well, what? Sitting at like going to school and being in normal. No, I was doing rad stuff and putting on wigs and making crazy.
You had a more creative outlet.
Yeah. It was, being able to do all these different characters and all that kind of stuff.
And like now, like, do you think if you had been like a kid now or a teenager, maybe like would YouTube have been that thing for you? Like, would you be like a YouTube star?
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
because
you would have totally been a YouTube star.
Or maybe he's still a
No
Nickelodeon
way.
star.
I have too much. I have too much. Like, for example, if I was doing something on YouTube, I don't know. It's too much like vlogging.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to. I was inspired too much by the classic, Jerry Lewis's and Abbott and Costello's and Chaplin's and stuff, and the art of filmmaking and the art of television and stuff, and Mary Tyler Moore and Bob Newhart and Dick Van Dyke, and I don't know. I don't think that I would be drawn to be doing YouTube.
There's a respect for the craft that you just have too much.
Yeah, I think on one hand it's really cool that you can be able to go and you don't have to. You can just do whatever you want, and you have access to being able to shoot it on your phone, or cameras aren't that expensive. So kids that wouldn't have the ability to do, have a creative outlet now. I think that's rad, but I would still think that that's not the end result. Like I think that would be you
Just
would
the
be
beginning.
aspiring to something else.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
There's something so interesting because I feel like the way you use social media, you can tend to be very outspoken. Like
And you can follow him at Drake Bell on social
which
media.
I love, and I appreciate because I'm a very outspoken person as well. So I want to dive into that and so much more. Of course, the music because we got to touch it. We're playing in that and all that.
We're playing his new single, so don't go anywhere. We are hanging with Drake Bell right here on Let's Go There with Shira and Ryan on the new Channel Q on your radio and radio.com.
Let's Go There with Shira and Ryan.
Okay, we are back with actor, singer, artist Drake Bell in the studio.
Like, oh my God.
Who's wearing rainbow running shoes, sneakers, rocking it for pride.
The mom just jumped out. Just running shoes.
Running
Ooh,
shoes.
I heard
Cool
that in a
mom.
minute.
I'm a cool
I don't know
mom.
if I could run in these.
No, I don't think you can.
No,
They're
look
cute
more like
though.
they look more like old vintage boxing or wrestling shoes.
Well,
or something,
they're
right?
cool. Your styling, of
thank
course.
you.
We were getting into some throwbacks.
They are
talking.
Gucci.
Okay. Oh,
Oh,
now
we
you guys
love a
dropping
label.
name. Dropping
We love
a name.
Is this whole outfit Gucci or the pants Gucci too?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay,
peeped it.
fancy. So we were doing some throwback memories to Drake and Josh, and of course some of the other stuff you were doing and acting and all that. But let's talk about your music.
Sure.
Transitioning more
Yeah.
into that, like what was the inspiration? Did you always wanted to do music, and now you're like, finally it's time?
well, no, I've been doing music for forever. Really, I did music on both shows. I wrote the theme song for Drake and Josh. All the music that you heard on the show, I
I
wrote.
remember that.
And then we were able to.
You're talented.
Thanks.
I mean, yeah.
And then we were able to write a lot of the music for the other Nickelodeon shows and stuff. And yeah, so music's always really been a part. I released my first couple records during the show and did tours on those and stuff. And yeah, so I've just kind of been continuously making music, and throughout that process, I found myself a lot of times ending up in Latin America because I don't know, for some reason one of my records did really well out there, and then I started to be able to cultivate a big fan base out there, and every time I would go, I'd play these massive festivals and with all these other big artists, and I would hear the music out there and kind of get the vibe. And I came back and this last time I recorded a song, and I was like, you know what, I think I got to do something in Spanish, because I do cover songs in Spanish live, but they would just be covers or whatever, and they love it and stuff. Or I'd speak to them in Spanish and stuff, and so they would. So I'm like, man, I got to do something in Spanish for them. So and something original.
Yeah.
And so and that's what. That's how I ended up writing the song and making this song, and then all of a sudden, yeah, I don't know. Every record is different, but now it's like sort of just like reggaeton, I guess.
Yeah, because I was wondering when I first heard this song, I was wondering, it feels like such a huge leap from where you've been and what you've done to now this. How easy or authentic was that transition for you?
Well, I don't know. I don't really think about it. You know what I mean? So when you say like how like authentic, I guess
because you're not
I guess
Spanish,
pretty,
like you're not from.
well, no, I guess
you're
pretty,
not Latin.
It wasn't.
No,
it's just
no,
not
no,
that. It's just
but,
how inspired have you always
yeah,
been from the people and just the culture and the music.
I think it's just I mean, when I was doing it, it just felt natural because like that's what I wanted to do. It didn't feel forced. I guess that's what I was feeling.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for. It's like no, it didn't feel forced. Obviously there were daunting moments when I'm like, do I sound too white right now, or like is my accent coming through? Like, can you hear my terrible? Can you hear my terrible accent? But then no, I had friends in there helping me. Like, no, say this more like this. No, that sounds great.
And our producer Vanessa said you sound like an amazing Latin artist.
Yeah, because clearly she speaks for all of Colombia.
No, but I'm saying
Let's play the
you
song.
got her a seal of approval.
Set up the song because we want to play a little clip of it.
This is Fuego Lento. Nobody knows what happened to forever. People come just to go, and then it's like whatever. But when we get close, hands on your skin, you make it rain, and I could just dive in. But why don't we both get a little wetter? Or we could get it all at once, run the river dry as hell and then be done. But trust me, that's not what you want. But trust me, that ain't what I want. I want a soul burn, hot with desire. Baby,
a clip of Drake Bell's new song, Fuego Lento.
Yeah.
So can you tell us what the song's about? What was the inspiration?
What is the song about? Oh, it's just about not rushing into things and kind of like letting the fire kind of, slowly burn and kind of, that kind of vibe.
I like that. In relationships?
Yeah.
Work? Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah,
So, was it ever tough for you to separate the artist, like the musician Drake Bell, from the actor comedian Drake Bell?
Not really, because I kind of just played I kind of just played me on the show, which was pretty cool. Like I was into all this. The writers and producers kind of tailored the characters really around us. I think they kind of tweaked Josh a little more because that. But for my character, all the music I liked on the show was the music I dug, and I got to write the music. They weren't like giving me music. And a lot of the comedy and kind of stuff was sort of, it was very natural. It was like they wrote in our voices, and which was really cool because our names were Drake and Josh,
it was very
yeah. So it wasn't weird and also the songs that I was releasing on my records, that I was writing for my records, were the songs that I was putting on the show. So if somebody came to see me live, it wasn't like they weren't confused. They weren't like, wait, why okay, now I have to go see Jesse so-and-so, and I know him as Drake on the show, and I know this music that he does, but then they come and see, and I'm like a country artist.
It wasn't like Miley Cyrus and Hannah Montana, where she had that real disconnect, and it was really hard for her.
Yeah, no, it was kind of, it just made sense. So
yeah,
it was kind of easy that way.
Yeah, because I mean, you're so right. It's very easy to kind of figure it out, but I just think the industry was so different then, where I feel like they put you in like, okay, so you're in this lane, and this is what you're doing, and you can't do anything else.
Yeah, but I think that always goes. I think that
Really, you still feel that way now?
Yeah, I mean, I think that happens all the time. Even with like all artists, it's like you always have to, whatever your last record was, it's like, you're always judged by like what you did before, and and people think like, oh, that's what you are, and and the real artists are the ones that can kind of like transcend that. Like you mentioned, like Miley, it's like that she had such a hard time, and then she reinvents herself, and then she reinvents herself again, and then reinvents herself again, and then and it's like those types of artists who really are able to withstand that kind of stuff.
So what's next after this? So you have the single, you're touring a bit.
Yeah, I'm touring all the time. So I actually was just in Mexico this weekend. We were playing a few shows. I go to Torreon next weekend to play to play at festival, and then yeah. So pretty much just constantly on the road.
I love it. Drake Bell again,
and then new music
right
coming
now.
out. Yeah.
New music. All right, so let's talk about that.
More Spanish stuff.
More Spanish stuff.
So you're gonna do like a whole Spanish album?
I don't even know about making records anymore because everybody's just buying singles. So I'm just going in the studio and making records and popping them out, and then some of the stuff I put and that kind of frees you up to kind of be able to do a couple of tunes over here, collaborate with these people over here, do something completely different, do something you don't have to make one cohesive record, and it's like, oh, this doesn't sound like this record, so let's put it on the back burner for something later or something. We can just do whatever we want.
So you actually enjoy that more instead of like, because I feel like that, especially because there is like, everyone feels like they have like a short attention span when it comes to taking in music.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, can people sit with a project and actually like take it in, or do you just like, I
miss the process of really, thinking of, okay, what is the tone of this record, and what are we trying to say, and how are we going to put this all together, and it's like making a movie. I miss that process, but that process is kind of just to satisfy yourself now. It's really now I just like getting in there and having the freedom of pumping out as much content and as much music as possible. That's and being able to do any type of genre, not being pigeonholed into only doing one sound or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's great. What advice, do you have a lot of the, younger child stars coming to you now for, advice? They try to reach out. How do I become like you?
Yeah, my phone's ringing off the hook.
They're sliding in your DMs.
I mean, speaking of, you had a lot to say about the All That reboot, didn't you?
No, stop it. It's because I'm so biased. It's because I love All That so much.
All That was amazing. But it's not, do you think it was, do you think they should have made it for the generation like us, or is it to take a new spin?
I don't know. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic.
I think it's going to be cute.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're going for a younger audience, I think.
It's like Blue's Clues.
Yeah.
They have a whole new Blue, too.
It's like
what is going on?
when they got it. It's like when they got the new guy for Blue's Clues too. I was just as upset.
Well,
you know what? I'm just a purist. That's all it is.
It just feels
seems like he wants to live in old Hollywood.
I mean, but my thing is, in some ways, to me though, I do feel like it feels lazy. I think a lot of times it's one of those things where can we not come up with something more? I think that's what was so special about the '90s and the 2000s.
Come on, you could vent. This is a safe
Yeah,
space
say
to
what
vent.
you was over here about to go in.
No.
He's really. We told him not to swear on the air, and now he's just
He's just reeled it in. Don't get sleepy.
You say that as if I just came in cursing like a sailor. You're
I
like,
wish.
Whoa, tone back the swearing there. Not on the air.
No, you just don't know how many people come in here and they just start cussing. We
Really?
make people so comfortable where they're just like.
That is true. That is true. Yeah. You forget you're on the air sometimes.
You do. Well, Drake Bell, thank you so much again for
Yeah,
being
thank you
here.
for having me.
Check out the new song Fuego Lento,
Yeah,
and I'm
check it
sure
out.
more to come. You can hear his rants, maybe not here, but definitely on his social media.
Oh my gosh.
next time.
I don't rant.
It's ranting
My
is a beautiful
goodness.
thing.
There's nothing wrong with ranting. I rant so much. Do
Yeah.
you not understand?
If you like ranting and it'll get me a follow, sure. Go to my social media.
For more art and music, and
For the occasional tweet, go to my social media.
the occasional.
I think that's one of the reasons why I continue to follow you. One, because I'm just a fan of you, and then you are so honest. Because I feel like we've lost
thank
that
you.
from a lot of people, and as in celebs that I look up to. You know?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's a lot of fake.
Yeah, keep being honest. Don't be fake. Come back to the studio when you have new music.
Sure.
Coming up,